Hello, journalism class. My name is Dr. Michael Downing, and I teach English and professional writing at Kutztown University of Pennsylvania. I also advise the student newspaper. So this is my video, and what I want to talk about is journalism. Your assignment is to tell us about how you put together your news story, and then anything else you have learned in the class that you would want to share within a 5 or 6 minute timeline. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go here. So I need to move the bar out of the way. I'm going to start actually, what you're seeing here is the back end of my WordPress blog. And you can see all of these articles here. There are more. Let's see, it looks like there's 73 total. 65 have been published. And here's the front end. I believe I've shared this previously, but you can see all of these posts that I've done over the last 3 years, approximately. So let me dive in here. Now, one of the things you'll see up at the top is that I have 73 total posts, but I've only published 65. So there's 8 here that have not been accounted for. And what that means is, here's where we're at here. So Canada 2025, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I have another part, that's part 5. Okay. What I did, and this is what I would recommend for professional writing majors, anybody who's interested in writing, is when we got back, we spent 3 weeks in Canada this year. And we did that in my camper van. Bought a van 4 years ago. And I can show you what that looks like. Here. So here is the van. And if I scroll down, I can show you additional pictures. Let's see, I can zoom in. Remember that you can zoom in by using control in the wheel on the mouse. So there's the interior of it. It's insulated and wired, and there's a sink with a foot pump. There are fans in the roof. We do use a heater when we camp in the off season. The chairs swivel around. It's pretty neat. Okay. I don't want to spend too much time on that. So we spent 3 weeks in Canada, and the advice that I'm trying to give at this point is if you are trying to create a blog and generate material for writing, and I advise that travel is one of the easiest ways to dive into writing. Students don't always know what they want to write about. So I say go somewhere, talk to somebody, and then write it up. So the reason I have these they're 8 drafts, right? What I did is when I got back from travel, and even during travel, I was speaking. As you know, I compose into my phone. So from time to time, I would go ahead and compose into my phone and then just email that to myself. I get the information out of my head, and then I catch up to it later and I stitch everything together. So that's where all this information is coming from. And then I think it's important for me to go ahead and create these posts because I also have a huge visual component to my blogs, and I think right to my blog posts, which you've seen, right? Huge visual component. These would be boring if it was just text. So that's the other part that I would recommend. So I assemble all of this stuff, and I did that in August. And then, of course, the semester begins and all hell breaks loose, and I'm not able to get back to any of this. So let me dive into any one of those. Let's go to Canada 2025 just to poke in a little bit and see what I've got. So 2020, Canada 2025, Part 7. I try to make my titles consistent across all of them. And Ottawa was tricky from the start. So I need to dive back into this and begin editing and restitching and grooming and all of that stuff. But I just wanted to make sure that I had the language and I had the images, all of that. So when I can carve out some time, right, I'll get myself a cup of coffee and I'll sit here and I will work with the text and then how the text relates to the images and all of that. This is from the Canadian Mint in Ottawa. So you see how all of this weaves together. Now you've got some choices here. Sometimes I put them together as slideshows, and sometimes I interstitch the images. Sometimes I do both. I think what I did is I save certain photos here for the end. So this is how I write. This is how I cover things. I'm at 5 minutes and 10 seconds, so I should wrap up. Let me show you one more just for fun. So none of this has been published yet. That was Ottawa. I don't know. It's been a few months since I looked at this stuff. So let's dive in here. So this is Long Point Provincial Park, St. Thomas Pinery Provincial Park. So there's the van again and all of that. There's the two of us traveling. Okay, I am coming up on 6 minutes and that's my limit. So I bounce back to this and I say, thanks for watching. My name is Michael Downing. Have a good day.